What is going on, everybody? It has been quite a minute since we've last seen each other and quite a minute since I posted. Today we are going to be doing a install on the stock airbox. Already from the dealership, stock airbox is great. All you gotta do is the airbox mod, and the car's great. I found a good deal for a aftermarket one, and we're gonna see if that was worth it with that new intake. So this is the new setup that I got for a really good deal. Here we have is an aFe Takeda Momentum Cold Air Intake. And honestly, for what I paid for, compared to the retail price on this, I got a really good deal. I mean, it's not in bad shape. Got a couple nicks here and there, but nothing keep doing with a Sharpie, right? Got a little bit of some wear and tear, but the previous owner only ran it for 200 miles, and he eventually just decided to go back to stock because he didn't like the way it sounded. So first things I already noticed, obviously when we compare the stock intake to the aFe Takeda, already the Takeda is a lot more bigger when it comes to introducing air to the filter. You have that little snorkel on the passenger side versus where the Takeda has a much more bigger gap. So that will allow more airflow through, more induction noises. However, it could potentially allow more heat soak. But then again, it's a lot better than the K&N, which you see right here. Way better. It's gonna do some kind of prevention for sucking up the engine's heat, but yeah. So I'm not gonna do a tutorial of how to remove the stock airbox. It's pretty straightforward. You just got 2 to 3 bolts holding the box in, then you remove the intake from the throttle body itself, or you can just YouTube it. I'm just gonna do my part and just review the aFe Takeda intake. It looks like for the Takeda airbox, we're gonna have to utilize the OEM screws, and we're gonna have to mount them inside a box. So we got our 2 screws here and here, and we're just gonna go inside a box and mounted it. After having a hassle with the damn bolts, got it in. Next, we are now gonna install the intake itself. So this kind of just slides in. I'm guessing it holds it. We have this bottom piece, and it looks like this is where our sensor is gonna mount to. But it looks like we might have to flip it upside down just for it to fit. So I think that's what we're gonna do. Straight out of the box, it looks great. It functions great, I'm gonna assume, because it's keeping the original design of the OEM airbox, but still allowing more air to flow through. Albeit it is sitting on top of radar, but then again, that is how it was with the snorkel. All right, so I'll give you guys a couple of some audio. So already, as you can tell, you can hear more of that induction noise or the intake sucking up the air. You can definitely hear a lot more. I want to see how it sounds revving. All right, guys, we are back. I decided to hold off on recording until I got a better mount for the camera for you guys, which here we are now. I'm actually liking the setup, but now we have the Takeda intake installed. We're gonna be doing it sound comparison with the stock box. As usual, we're gonna do it with the top up, windows up, and the top down. Now, if we go ahead and give it the beans, that kind of explains itself, that having a more open airbox introduces much more induction noise, which, as you can hear, That was pretty deep. That was pretty good. And I think it sounds good, you know. Let's go ahead and see if we can get another one. We're gonna drop down to second gear real quick. You gotta admit, it sounds really aggressive. It sounds great for the S2000, you know. And the thing I like about this Takeda intake, more than the stock obviously, is the fact that when you're really pushing the car, it opens itself, you can hear it much more than you can with the stock airbox. Of course, the stock airbox is great from the factory, right? Honda engineered it to be perfection. And you can do the airbox mod and it'll make it twice as better. But it's just not as, for me personally, I want it to be a little bit more aggressive. And I think this Takeda intake is the perfect line between aggressiveness and functionality. The car doesn't heat soak from what I can tell. We'll get into that later at the end of the video. Oh, once we cross E-Tech, so we're gonna go ahead and put the top down real quick. All right, let's get to the shot. I am right now driving in some pretty tight corners, so I can't really fully put pedal to the metal. But I will tell you this, you can hear it more with the top down, albeit the wind noise, but you can just hear it. We'll give it one more go with top down and we'll head on to the ending of the video. Okay. like this is a good spot. All right, so we are at the end of the video. And here's my honest opinion about the intake. So from the install, and after driving it a couple days after the install and then recording the video now, I had to make some subtle changes to the intake. So when you watch initial reviews about the intake itself from other owners or from other YouTubers, they will also say the same thing. You know, sometimes the car is throwing a P0441 code. The car makes a lot of rattling sound and they're driving it, which I've noticed, all those problems I've noticed and I've dealt with. Let's talk about the rattling. The Takeda intake, when you just slap it on with the hardware and everything, it will make noise in the passenger side when you're revving it or you're driving really hard. The best solution I found to do was to install some 3M rubber insulations that you can get at Home Depot for like maybe $8, and I would recommend putting these rubber weather strips on these parts of the intake. I've noticed that it was hitting the AC line as well, but I've also noticed that it was hitting on the subframe as well, so I put it there as well, and the noise is gone. So it could be the subframe that it's hitting, it could be the AC line that it was hitting, but this is what I would recommend. $8, it's nothing too crazy. That's a pretty good deal. On to the next part. So in relation to the code that most people get, I was able to pick out the codes. It's a P0441 code, and that indicates the evap control system. I mean, I had it facing up, as you know, I would assume that's how the purge flow would go. It went the same way, it went that way on the stock airbox, so I would assume that that's how it would be on the aftermarket intake. I didn't had instructions when I bought this from a person off Facebook Marketplace. And they say to flip it upside down or have the evap control system upside down completely, which doesn't make sense to me, but then again, it's just a purge valve, right? It's just purging out excess air or whatever. So I guess it didn't make sense. I had no issues with any code whatsoever, so right now I'm check engine light free. Now the big part is, I'm pretty sure what everybody wants to know is, how are the air temps on the stock? I mean on the Takeda intake. We were reaching temps with the stock airbox around 141, and this was just idling at, the car is already fully heated up, and this was around, what, 78, 79 degrees. However, when we're going to the Takeda intake, we were reaching around 154, and it was kind of surging up to 158, which, you know, I'm not surprised that, you know, the intake is getting more hotter because it's more open, right? The intake itself is taking in more hot air compared to the stock box. Anyway, yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching. Anyway, I'll catch you guys later. Have fun.